Hello, and welcome to my presentation on space exploration. First, let me give you a little bit of an overview of what I will talk about. I will first discuss destiny and if it is our mission to explore the stars. Next, I will talk about if the Earth still needs to be explored, because we do live on it, it's kind of important. Third, other positives about space exploration. Fourth, how space affects our bodies while humans are up in space. And fifth, different benefits about space exploration. Exploration is our version of manifest destiny from the 1800s. And what that means is in the 1800s, many people believed that the only way to progress as a nation was to explore westward and to explore to the Pacific coast. Many people nowadays believe that in order to advance as a nation, we have to explore up and into space. Another example is from Star Trek, and it's where they say the final frontier, which is interesting because it, space is so as far as we know never ending, and it can be explored for as much as we want. And we as humans have a need, almost a drive to explore. And the question is where else would we go? 95% of the oceans are not explored, and considering that the oceans make up most of our world, that's a pretty big number. That's a pretty big percentage of our planet that we have not explored, and that's pretty scary because we don't know what could be down there. We don't know what could be there, and dangerous or not, it's still a mystery to us. And there are many mystery creatures that are alien in nature. That octopus at the bottom of the screen, I would not be surprised if it got off a spaceship and tried to speak Martian to me. It just looks like that. And all these creatures are from, deep in the sea, and many they look like aliens. And that's, why do we need to go out exploring when the aliens are right in our underneath the oceans? And the third thing is, why is space more important than the seas? The seas are here on this planet with us, and that could, affect the way we live here on, home base. Next, there are different challenges and other positives that come from space exploration. One is with new territory comes new problems. And sure, we don't know exactly what they could be, but these problems could one day actually help solve problems here on Earth, such as, global warming or helping out during a natural disaster. In fact, some of the new NASA technology was just used in the recent earthquakes in Nepal to help detect heartbeats in the rubble, and they helped save 4 people, which is astounding. Also, space has led to an unparalleled example of cooperation between previously hostile nations and different peoples of all sorts, such as the United States and Russia. 10 years after the end of the Cold War, were both sending people up to the International Space Station to help develop science and push our whole world as together. Next, I'll talk about if our bodies can survive in space. And I mean, they start to break down very quickly. Within the first week, muscles and bones start to break down or get brittle, and that can affect their structure and how they move once they get back here on Earth or somewhere with gravity, such as Mars or Jupiter or whatever. After 2 weeks, sleep loss occurs because when they're orbiting the Earth every 90 minutes on the International Space Station, the sun rises and sets a whole lot. Their circadian rhythm gets thrown off, and astronauts don't really know how to deal with that. Um, After a year on the ISS, the International Space Station, their immune systems start to get weak, and that's due to them breathing in filtered air and not having to deal with any bacteria. Um, After about 3 months in space, um, astronauts tend to see a decline in their eyesight, and whether that's due to cataracts or just general wear and tear because of them being in space hasn't been determined as of yet. After 2 days, right after they launch into space, their faces start to get really swollen and huge because of all the fluids that start to pool there. And after a year or so, or a year or more in space, depression can take in, and that's because at any moment when they're in space, certain death is certain. Any time it could happen. Um, any little failure, any little thing can cause a hole in the wall and them to just be sucked out into a vastness of emptiness. And the main question is can our minds take it? Can our minds take all the problems, all the different things that occur in space? Finally, I will talk about different benefits that come with space exploration. First is that exploration leads to more jobs. and also an increased investment and interest in the education. Because, I mean, kids when they grow up don't want to be burger flippers at McDonald's. No, they want to be astronauts. They want to be people working on rocket ships. And that's something that'll help propel the space exploration into more positive light, I guess. Um, Next is that advancing technology will aid in exploration, and it also aids down here on Earth, because different vessels need different things, and when you need those things up in space, odds are is there's a practical use for them down here with normal people on Earth. Also, new resources for mining different planets, whether it be rare earth metals that are could abundant on different worlds, or just a bigger supply so that we don't wreck our Earth. It's different things that could help our planet. With all this evidence and with all this stuff, it just makes you think, what's holding us back? Is it money? Is it resources? Or is it just us being too afraid to take a leap? Here are my sources, and thank you for watching my presentation.